happened to you when you were young that you didn't understand until years later? When I was 6, my little brother Daniel was 4. We lived in a quiet neighborhood in the suburbs, the kind of place where everyone left their doors unlocked and the kids ran around in each other's yards until it got dark. Our cousins lived just 2 houses down, so it was pretty normal for us to ask if we could go see them and walk over by ourselves. One evening, the sun was starting to set, and the air smelled like freshly cut grass. I remember standing in the kitchen with Daniel tugging on my arm while I asked our mom, Karen, if we could go play at our cousin's place. She said yes without hesitation. She told us to hold hands and stay on the sidewalk, and then we darted out the front door. The walk was barely 30 seconds. We could already hear our cousins yelling in their backyard, their dog barking at us through the fence. That was when a car slowed down beside us. It was an older sedan, kind of dull gray with one headlight dimmer than the other. The driver leaned across the passenger seat to talk to us through the open window. He was a man I didn't recognize, maybe in his 30s, with a baseball cap pulled low and a scratchy voice. He asked if we knew where the nearest McDonald's was. Daniel, being 4, lit up at the word McDonald's. He loved Happy Meals more than anything. The man must have noticed because he added, "Would you kids like to come with me? I can take you there." I remember stopping on the sidewalk, gripping Daniel's hand tighter. At 6, I didn't really understand danger, but I understood rules. One of our house rules was that we weren't allowed to eat fast food unless mom said it was okay. So I told him, as matter-of-factly as any 6-year-old could, we're not allowed to eat McDonald's unless our mom says yes. Then I turned around to run back and ask her. That's when I saw her. My mom was already sprinting out of the house barefoot, her face pale and frantic. She was waving her arms, yelling at us to get back inside. The man's expression changed in an instant. He slammed his foot on the gas, and the car lurched forward, disappearing down the street so fast it rattled the loose mailbox at the corner. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe he was embarrassed for asking kids instead of adults. My mom was shaking when she reached us, but she knelt down, hugged us both tightly, and just said, "Don't ever go near a car like that again." We nodded, promised, and then went on to play at our cousin's house like nothing had happened. Life went on. The memory of that evening faded into the blur of childhood. It wasn't until I was 15 that the full weight of it hit me. We were sitting around the living room, swapping old family stories. I brought up the time I told some man we couldn't eat McDonald's without permission, thinking it was kind of funny and innocent. My mom's face darkened instantly. She set her coffee mug down and looked at me like I had just dug up something she'd tried hard to bury. She said, "You know what that really was, right?" I didn't. Daniel didn't. We just shook our heads. She explained how she had been watching us through the kitchen window, saw the car slow down, saw the man leaning toward us. She said every instinct in her body screamed that something was wrong. When she heard him mention McDonald's, she dropped everything and bolted outside. She told us that the man wasn't lost. He wasn't looking for directions. He was trying to lure us into his car. I remember sitting there stunned, my stomach sinking as I thought back to that dim headlight, that scratchy voice, the way he sped off the second she appeared. I realized just how close Daniel and I had come to climbing into that car, and how I had only stopped because of a silly family rule about fast food. My mom admitted she still had nightmares about it for years. She said she never forgave herself for letting us walk down the block alone that day. I tried to reassure her, but truthfully, I was shaken too. The more I thought about it, the clearer it became that if I hadn't said those exact words, "We're not allowed without mom's permission," Daniel and I might not have made it to our cousin's house at all. Now, looking back as an adult, I can still see the scene perfectly. The glow of the sunset on the sidewalk, the smell of grass, the warmth of Daniel's hand in mine, and that car idling too close to the curb. What I once remembered as an odd encounter now feels like a narrow escape from something much darker. I didn't understand it at 6. At 15, I finally did.